Oh god, so good. So it carries on to say that Genesis actually outsold the SNES for 4 consecutive Christmas seasons due to its 2-year lead, lower price point, and larger game library compared to the SNES at its release. Sega had 10 games for every game on the SNES, which is nuts. And while SNES had an exclusive version of Final Fight, one of Sega's internal development teams created Streets of Rage, baby, which
Yeah.
had bigger levels, tougher enemies, and a well-regarded soundtrack. You damn right. I will.
And
Oh my god, I'll say it's got the best one ever.
and that's what it befuddles me. That is what competition does.
Makes
You
better
make
games.
something better. Like
Yep.
you see what they have, and it's like that's nothing. Like yeah, Final Fight is cool,
Yeah.
Capcom and Cody and Guy,
Yep.
but I want skates, you know, and the music. And because look, I learned about Streets of Rage before Final Fight, and when I saw Final Fight, I'm like, what the fuck is this trash?
That's exactly
you
how
know?
I felt. I thought I had
Yeah.
no idea Final Fight came out first. Like I played Streets of Rage, and then my buddy's like, "Oh, did you ever
You could
play
just
Final
tell.
Fight?" And I said, "Nah." I played it. I was like, "Man, this is a bad Streets of Rage knockoff, man. This ain't no good." And like, he's like, "Oh, this
Yeah,
actually came out first." I was like, "Well, damn. Well, the people who made Streets of Rage, they did it right. They knew how to make a good beat 'em up game."
yeah, and it's like it just blows me away how like the market or I don't know what to call it, but how that's kind of just been forgotten
Yeah.
because Streets of Rage, its entire existence, like who they were competing with, it was like it wasn't even close.
Yep.
Because like you could have your Final Fight fans. And it's like the coolest Final Fight has ever looked to me was when I saw Cody and Guy in Street Fighter 4. Because at first I was like, who are these guys? They're not from Street Fighter. But when
Uh,
I found out they were from Final Fight and I saw Hagar and
oh
then the
yeah,
whole thing
yeah,
with Streets
yep.
of Rage, I was like, look, Cody's cool, but Axel is taking this dude like he's folding him in half.
Oh yeah.
It's
Oh
like,
yeah,
get
all
out of
day.
here.
All day. Yeah.
But and I think that's kind of like what you like say, like the experience, like Final
Yeah.
Fight versus Streets of Rage. Just like you're not the first is the name,
Oh yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
in Streets of Rage, there is rage on the streets.
Yes.
We are out here brawling.
And they
Final
even
Fight,
have like, I mean, the first one kinda, but the second one at least like gave you more of a cinematic feel. Like if you just let it play out, it goes like, starting off and like and just like it starts off with like the little picture and it shows like Mr. X laying on his face and they're all huddled around him like and it says like, like 1 year after the battle, blah 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 blah. Like, after they whooped his ass in the first one. And then like it goes on to the next scene and you start seeing like the hands coming around the city and that's like you're reading all the dialogue that's coming up and how Mr. X kidnapped Adam and how that's how Skate got involved. Like they put a lot of context behind what you're doing instead of just, hey, here's these guys, they're just fighting.
just
And it's
walking
like
and
for no
fighting.
reason, you know what I mean?
Finally,
Like it's they
yeah,
put a little bit of dialogue to it to make you feel like there's a reason you're doing what you're doing and there's some sort of
yeah.
an end game there and it's not just for the sake of doing it.
There's a sense of urgency. There's a narrative, and now you're like immersed. Like
Yeah.
this is about you have to do something. You're not just some guy named Cody.
Yeah. And
like there is a bad guy. He is up to some shit, and one of our boys. Oh, dude, you've taken it too far. like
this song, it's so good. It's like the whole vibe. Like if you could just summarize the vibe of the game before it even gets started, like this has to be the best intro music to probably any game, period. And I'm sure someone's out there's gonna be like, dude, you're just a fanboy. That's all it is. And you know what?
correct.
If
Yes.
if that is,
And
then be that as it may. I don't care. It gets me just hyped. It's just so good.
yeah.
And then it's like it's slow, nothing really going. Then it gets to this point, and then it goes up just a little bit more, and they add more to it, and it gets you in that spot where it's like, oh, okay, now I'm ready to freaking crack skulls. So good.
Yeah, like yeah, they really nailed the
Yuzo
ambience, the theme.
Koshiro and Moto Hiro. I think it's Kawazawa. So they got his name like in the dots, but I think it's Kawazawa or Kawashima.
Yeah. Um,
But yeah, so
it's so smooth.
it is. That's what I'm saying, dude. It's like my wife laughed at me because like I had some of these songs like I can just like listen to it as background music. She goes, "Are you like listening to video game music?" I'm like, "I'm telling you." I was like, it's so good. And she's like,
Yeah,
"But it's video game music." I was like, "It doesn't matter. It's like it hits
like
good."
people don't understand. Like video game music is. I think video game music has its own unique place when it comes to vibe and feeling, and the only way you'd understand is if you played the game. So
Yeah.
it's very intimate. It's very unique to the people who played it. Like, of course, if you just play it anywhere, people will be like, "Oh, okay, it sounds all right." But if you play Final Fight, well, not
Yeah.
Final Fight, but Streets of Rage,
Yeah.
you'd be like, "Oh yeah, I know what I got to do."
Oh yeah. It's just that's and that's the thing. Like that's why I try telling people. I'm like, man, I said, just to, I guess, defend my fanboyism is the whole idea of, again, it's the experience, man. You tie all of it together between the visuals, the sound effects, the music, the level layouts, the move set. I mean, just the list goes on and on. I mean, it just they've crushed it. I can't sing the praises of these developers enough. They just freaking destroyed making a sequel. Like they surpassed everything when they made this game. And I don't want to go into too much detail because I'm gonna end up making a video about this. But the third one, I liked it, but I think it is the worst one in the series. Going through 94, they were at 55% of all 16-bit hardware sales. Oh, it didn't say the market, but it just said it says that they slipped. It says 16-bit market dipping down from 60% at the end of 92 to 37% at the end of 93. So that means SNES and other stuff kind of hedged their way back into the game. But it also continues on to say Sega claiming 55% of all 16-bit hardware sales during 94. But as it goes on to say, fantastic game in Donkey Kong Country, helping SNES to outsell the Genesis from 95 through 97.
I can
So
see that because Donkey Kong was like, I think that was
huge.
Rare, right?
Yeah, that was Rareware.
Yeah,
Yeah, huge.
yeah, they were a force to be reckoned with back then. I think if Rare, just Bizarro universe, if Rare made their own console, I think they would have been like the third one. It would have been Sega, Nintendo, and then Rare, because boy, I hear nothing but good things about old school Rare.
Oh yeah, I mean they were in a league of their own at the time, and it's like I don't know what happened, but they made
Microsoft,
they what?
Microsoft.
Microsoft, is that what it was? Microsoft killed somebody else. It was
Yeah,
Netscape and now Rareware too.
yeah, back when they bought it, like, and everyone felt the same thing. Cause like I respected Rare. I didn't play too many Rare games. I played a little Conquer and Banjo Kazooie,
Yeah.
but I have a lot of friends that play the hell out of Donkey Kong, and they loved Rare games, and they showed them to me. Like Perfect Dark, I think was also a Rare
Was that a Rare
title.
game? Really? That was a good
I
game. I
think,
didn't know that was Rare. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, but man, had no idea that was them.
yeah, I think so. I don't want to be up here spreading misinformation, but
How dare you?
I want to say it was Rare. I really, matter of fact, I was this Rare? Yep, Rare. So, like, I think, and this was, I think, around 7th gen when Microsoft acquired them, and everyone just kind of let out a collective sigh because I think everyone wanted Nintendo to have Rare. They're like, well, they don't make anything. Like, you didn't let Anyway, that's for another
Oh no,
another
yeah, no,
discussion.
yeah. Trust me, I get it,
Yeah.
dude. There's so many easy ways to go down a rabbit hole of something else. Trust me, I totally get. There's so much crap that's happened over the years. So what I did was, for those that if they were paying attention, if not, they can always rewind a little bit. But I have it to where if you can see, I know it's a little fuzzy, but I know Immortal, I don't think you can see this unless I shared my screen again. But
Oh yeah. I'll
behind
wait till
me,
the video drops.
say behind me, like where all my stuff is at, I bought a 3D printed Rareware logo that I have sitting on top of where I got all my stuff at, like where my Spider-Man figures are at and all that jazz. Cause that was a huge deal back in the day. Rare, they were very influential in the gaming market and stuff. And Donkey Kong Country, as much of a Sega fanboy as I am, that is like, I'm not gonna say one of my favorite games, but if you were to talk about out of the 16-bit era, oh, it's if I had to take a guess, Donkey Kong Country, if I didn't put that in my top 10, I would be quite surprised. So it says, according to a 2004 study of NPD sales data, the Genesis maintained its lead over the SNES in the American 16-bit console market. However, according to a 2014 Wedbush Securities report based on revised NPD sales data, the SNES outsold the Genesis in the US market by 1.5 million units.
Ooh, that's sizable
That's,
lead.
I know, considering it had a late start. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's pretty significant. All right, so that will do it for today, guys. I'm glad that, if you made it up to this point, I'm glad you did, and hopefully you enjoyed the listen with us here today. And I know we segued a little bit here and there talking about some other stuff, but that's what happens when you have good discussions. You kind of it doesn't need to constantly be linear. It's good to veer off here and there. There's some good stories that get told. So I
For sure.
apologize for those of you that might not like that, but that's how we like to do things here. Keep it informal, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's a little bit of nostalgia. I can't apologize for like bragging about how good we had it. I'm sorry, but
Right.
it is what it is. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's good.
your
Yeah.
kids with your internet connections and your broadbands.
Yep, that's right. You just plugged in and you were in there, man. But yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate you taking the time to come hang out with me today.
Yes. Thank
Uh,
you for having me.
Oh yeah. So when we come back for the second installment, we will be picking up where we left off. We will be going into the end of the 16-bit era and then into the beloved 32-bit era, which means what? Oh, the inception of PlayStation and the Sega Saturn and the N64. So kind of helped that we were kind of talking about some of those games, get you guys all worked up for all that stuff. So, and
Yes,
if you
sir.
guys are not currently subscribed to his channel on YouTube, please check him out at the Immortal Afro. And if you are not on our Discord, I will be putting a link in the description below. And also, you can find me on the team page. If you did not know, I'm a part of a team called the Super Retro Force. So I will put the link for that in the description as well. Be sure to not only check out the team channel, but also all of the team members' solo channels as well. There's a lot of great content creators there. I'm definitely glad I'm a part of it and being affiliated with those guys. It's a good bunch. And I'm telling you guys, it might be small now, but let's revisit this in about a year and let's see where we're at. So, again, thanks again, Immortal, for hanging in there with me. And take it easy, everybody.
All right. Peace.
Super Retro Force.